In a recent video, we discussed one of the most evil men in the entire Galactic Empire, the Grand Admiral Danetta Pitta. To briefly recap, Pitta led a horrifying mission of genocide within the Outer Rim, 2 years before the Battle of Yavin. Driven by his hatred of non-humans, Pitta targeted numerous planets within the Outer Rim, stripping these planets of their resources and annihilating their non-human populations. Most of these actions were carried out not by the Grand Admiral himself, but by the crews assembled by Pitta, who would command the Empire's dungeon ships, specifically designed for extermination of non-human species. One of the most feared dungeon ships was the Asgok, and its cruel actions were led by its commander Admiral Mir Tork and its sadistic chief scientist Leonis Murthae. Under the command of Tork and Murthae, the horrors demanded by Pitta were carried out. The Asgok would be disabled by the rebellion as its escort was recalled to fight in the Battle of Endor, and Grand Admiral Pitta would only survive another year as well. But the commanders of the Asgok were able to escape punishment for their actions, surviving 7 years after Endor. In this video expose, we'll look at the fate of both Admiral Tork and Science Officer Murthae, and describe how Boba Fett was able to regain his fearsome reputation by hunting down the bounties placed on the heads of these 2 Imperial war criminals. 7 years after the Battle of Endor and the death of Emperor Palpatine, sleek Bright Eyes informed Boba Fett of the terrible tragedies suffered by his people when the Asgok came to his homeworld of Golma. The Golmarids were taken on board the dungeon ship, with the old and very young being massacred immediately, and the rest being forced to serve the Empire, and more specifically, the commanders of the Asgok, Admiral Tork and Chief Scientist Murthae. Bright Eyes recounted the random and brutal executions committed by Tork, and the bizarre experiments undertaken by Murthae within his laboratories. Although Bright Eyes was saved by the rebellion, he told Boba that Tork and Murthae escaped and were still alive that many years later. Even worse, while the Asgok was disabled by the rebellion, they both went back to the dungeon ship with slavers and repaired the vessel, allowing it to once again spread terror throughout the galaxy. Boba Fett asked what the Golmarid wanted from him, with Bright Eyes making it clear he wanted both Tork and Murthae dead as justice for his homeworld. Boba then asked what the price would be for his services, with Bright Eyes answering he would give the bounty hunter everything that his people possessed, which was 100 credits. This answer infuriated Boba, turning his blaster on Bright Eyes after believing he was being disrespected by him. But the Golmarid told him there was a bigger reward in the bounty than mere credits. Bright Eyes explained that although 7 years had passed, Boba Fett's reputation still hadn't recovered. The name Boba Fett no longer conjured fear like it once had. The bounty hunter's defeat at the Sarlacc pit on Tatooine and his failure in preventing Han Solo from escaping made individuals question whether Boba's skills were what they once were. Therefore, Bright Eyes offered Boba a chance to regain his legacy and reputation. Because Tork and Murthae were so feared, there wasn't a single bounty hunter willing to take on the bounty. If Boba did accept, everyone would again know who Boba Fett was, the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. At this, Boba agreed to bring back the heads of the former Imperials to Bright Eyes. After being given the location, Boba traveled to the planet of Malachar III within the Outer Rim, where the Asgok was continuing its mission of genocide. Recognizing that the shields wouldn't hold up to a sufficiently large enough ion cannon, Boba utilized exactly that to disable the dungeon ship, allowing him to confront the 2 former Imperials. Demonstrating how Boba's reputation had taken a hit after the events of Episode 6, when the bounty hunter demanded the surrender of his 2 bounties, Tork didn't believe it was truly Boba Fett, believing instead that he was dead. Regardless, they refused to surrender, causing Boba to blast his way into the dungeon ship, where he not only fought his way to his 2 objectives, but also freed the Golmarids who were subsequently imprisoned. Boba first confronted the chief scientist Murthae, who'd been given a lightsaber by the Admiral, and which he now turned upon Boba Fett. However, with Murthae not knowing how to wield it, Boba used his flamethrower to brutally dispatch him, choosing to not give the scientist an easy death for his past crimes. With Murthae gone, only Tork remained. It wasn't long before Boba would find the Admiral within the dungeon ship's command center. But there was one problem for the bounty hunter. Tork activated the vessel's self-destruct switch, and even if Boba killed him, he and the rest of the individuals on the Asgok would perish. only Boba had a surprise of his own. He simply turned around to leave, explaining that he would allow Torque to escape and then just hunt him down again later. Torque wasn't pleased with the reversal of events, finding that having to spend the rest of his life hiding from Boba Fett was worse than death itself. Therefore, he drew his blaster upon Boba, causing the bounty hunter to do the same. However, after they each missed their first shots, Torque revealed a lightsaber of his own and charged Boba with it, only to be easily shot and killed. Having successfully completed his bounties, he told the Free Golmerids that what they did with their newfound freedom was up to them. But he ensured they remembered the name Boba Fett and how he killed two of the most feared individuals in the galaxy. With that, Boba traveled back to Bright Eyes, informing him that both Torque and Murthay were dead, presenting their heads as proof. Further, declining the credits offered by Bright Eyes, he was simply satisfied with knowing that word of his actions on the Asgok would spread, and he would once again be afforded the fear and respect that the name Boba Fett had once enjoyed. So there we have it, how Boba Fett rebuilt his reputation after the events of Episode 6. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter, @SW Reading Club, for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me... For the worst lightsaber duelists ever.